Welcome to the Daily Spell and Tarot Thursday. I am Reverend Mary Hawk, and with me is Cardware Sistical. Did I say that right?
Pretty close, pretty close. My name is Kedwir Kiskadal. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Cardware. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So, as I stated, my name is Kedwir. I have been a practicing tarot for about, say, the last probably about 17 years. I've been practicing pretty much since high school. Um, I am a pagan priest with Sacred Path Pagans. We are a shield organization here established in Florida. I'm also rector, which is just another term for principal or headmaster of Pagan Path Seminary.
All right. And thank you so much for joining me tonight. And so we are here to take your questions if you would like to post them in the chat. And what deck are you reading with tonight?
So tonight I am reading from the Modern Spellcaster Tarot.
I'm not familiar with that deck.
Yeah, so this one I actually use quite frequently, especially on my Tarot Talks page. I also use the Wildwood Tarot, but I do find that people respond more to the symbolism within the Modern Spellcaster deck.
All right. And good evening, everyone. And thank you for joining us. And you can certainly go ahead and post questions. So, what led you to take up tarot?
So I've actually mm, I've been able to see things from the other side since I was a child, um, and I have found that tarot allows additional symbolism to be able for me to be able to process messages or give messages to other individuals. Um, I also find it as a means, good means of meditation. I'm a big symbology person. I love symbolism. It speaks languages throughout the universe. So not only can I myself glean messages or anything like that, but I'm more easily able to provide them to other individuals.
Okay. And I've been reading tarot a little bit longer, about 20 years now. And I
Yeah,
started because, well, a tarot deck pulled me off the interstate and said, buy me.
nice. My actual very first tarot deck, it was the Sacred Circle Tarot. I actually used it for probably the first 15 years until I finally passed it on to somebody else who is a bit more closer to the symbolism within that deck now than I would consider myself to be. But I usually when I find a deck, I tend to stick to it for a while. But that also being said, I have probably about 10 to 15 different decks as well.
Yes, decks tend to grow on you. And is anyone posting in the chat? I am not seeing anything in chat.
I'm not
I am
seeing anything.
going to look on some of our other pages and see if I'm seeing anything there.
So as you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and show off a couple of the cards here to any
All right.
individuals. Oh, we've got a
And there's
comment
Nate.
from Matt stuck on the Moon Tarot. I know a big
Okay.
popular Moon Tarot deck here that I've seen around lately is the Deviant Moon. So
Now
here's.
that is beautiful. And I have used the Deviant Moon Tarot deck.
So this is the Queen of Swords. I wish my camera lighting was a bit better. Let's see.
Yeah, I've had that one for maybe 10 years now, Matt. So, yeah, probably around 10 years. And if anyone has a question they'd like to ask, please go ahead and post it in the chat. We'll be happy to do a reading for you.
Almost 10, yeah.
We may have both gotten it when it first came out. I have a hilarious story about the Deviant Moon Tarot. I was going to do a reading for a friend of mine who is rather goth. So I took that deck with me because I thought she would love it. I thought she would absolutely love it, and it rather freaked her out, and I wound up reading for her with the Rider Waite Smith. And I have the book that came with the deck. If there is a separate book for it, I do not have that.
Oh yeah, there is a huge hardcover, nice thick book that is a companion to the Deviant Moon. Yeah.
I do not have that. I might have to look into that.
So
Okay.
it's funny that you mention the the person that you were reading for, they were kind of spooked out by that particular deck. I have another one. It's called the Dark Grimoire deck. Ooh, bless you.
Thank you.
And I'm not sure if you're familiar with that one, but that one it's a bit. I would have to say it's definitely darker than the Deviant Moon. But then again, I sometimes play in the shadows too, so I don't stray too far from that.
Right. And again, folks, do post your questions. We would love to take them.
Oh yes, if anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to drop them.
We would really love to see them.
Shadow work. I love it when people mention shadow work. It's so important.
Shadow work is definitely very important. It is.
Certainly.
And we do have to deal with the shadow as well. It's an important part of growing.
Yeah. Certainly.
It truly is.
I'll go ahead. Here's a show off another card here. If I can get it to play nicely.
There we go.
So
A
this
little bit of a glare.
This one is actually the Emperor, which I enjoy how the Emperor is pictured here as we have a stag.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to play around here in the room a bit more before next time we do this, so I have better lighting.
I love the pictures on that. So, oh, come on. Somebody wants to ask a question. Come on, somebody, ask us a question. Any question. You got a question, Matt?
Let's see.
I don't think we've ever gone this long without a question.
I don't think so either.
Come on, don't be shy. Ask us a question. And Matt would like you to show that card again, please.
The Emperor card. Okay, I was actually just shuffling, so give me just a second to find it here.
I tell you what, if no one's asking us questions, will you pull about 3 cards for me and then I'll do 3 cards for you?
Most certainly. All right, let's see here. I'm almost. I've had to have gone past it, Matt. I'll have to take a search again. I'm gonna go ahead and pull some cards here for Miss Mary.
All righty. Well, I just do the reading for their work life, Matt. That's as valid as asking a question about personal life or spiritual life or anything else.
Yeah, yeah, I don't really necessarily go off of my personal feelings. When I do readings, I pull from the person's energy to the cards themselves. I also, with me being affinity with spirit, I also pull energy from their guides as well. Alrighty, Miss Mary. So the very first card that I have here for you is the Nine of Swords. I can get this to look pretty here.
No.
All right. So Nine of Swords, first card, which we would represent as the past. It represents a time of brokenheartedness, of a healing process as well. This did end up being a lasting emotional, having a lasting emotional effect on you. Um,
Wow.
However, you have found some type of strength to be able to. I don't like to say move on because there's some things that we don't actually move on from. We just tend to accept and continue on
Wow.
with. Okay, so this next card here is the Nine of Chalices. So now the Nine of Chalices, uh, let's see here if I can. Okay. So trying to play off of the previous card, or reading off of your previous card, what I am. Oh, I think that might just call us. Oh, hey, look at that. That does work better. Thank you.
Hi,
There we go.
Tanika. This one's one for me.
All right, hey there, Tanika. So this card, pulling off of your previous, um, there's there may still be some type of tendency or some type of trouble of being able to open up still. Perhaps keeping emotions at a slight distance to continue to avoid some type of pain. Um, However, through this, you have been able to find some type of current success. You've been able to turn that into a type of success, should I say. Um, yeah, so that was your current. And then here, pulling up card number three, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Now, our aces represents extremely raw energy, really powerful, inflamed elemental. With this, it's an earth, so it's definitely a foundation. In the future, I do see, or with this card, I do see that you find an extremely, what's the word I'm looking for? A good foot place for the success that you have actually found yourself coming into, be it within your life abundantly, not prosperously, but abundantly, or within the job itself that you have received some type But with it being a pentacle, or I'm so sorry, but with it being an ace card, there is extreme power within this. So through the previous heartache, if I'm looking at your three cards uh, as a spread,
Mm-hmm.
through that emotional pain or through that emotional turmoil, you gain that success and you will continue to build upon that foundation uh, without having to worry about
Wow. And so 2 years ago, we lost my daughter to Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is a rare disorder of the nervous system. She was just 33, 32.
Wow. Wow, I'm sorry. So she was just a year older than me. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. And yes, other people can ask for a card. Tamara, good to see you. How long does it take
Very,
to use a new to you deck? As long as it takes. And how do you choose a deck that speaks to you? When the cards, her name was Frankie. When the symbolism of the cards speak to you, and I said I would pull 3 cards for Care Greer, so I'm going to do that, and then we will take questions, or if someone just wants a general reading, just post it in the chat. So let's see what I get here. So the first card I get for you is the stars, which is saying that you need to be reaching for a spiritual answer right now. So thank you, Matt.
very sweet.
And then I've got the Eight of Wands, and we will be happy to do that for you, Sage. The Eight of Wands, which is saying that the situation is not clear. There is some illusion here. And then finally, we've got Heart, which is a card that's unique to the Infinite Tarot that Lord Don designed. So what this means is that in this particular situation, you are involved on a deep emotional level and you can't totally disconnect from it. So what I'm seeing here with all three is you definitely need to be looking to spirit for the solution. There is something you are not seeing clearly. You're essentially maybe fleeing from a night terror. And you are definitely deeply involved.
Ding, 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 ding. Yep, I know exactly what we're referencing.
All right. Nice to know when we hit the nail on the head. And Sage would like a general reading. All righty. As would Tammy. So Sage first, then Tammy. Hey, Fluffy. Good to see you.
Hello, hello.
Feel free to post the information about your moon ritual for tomorrow night in the chat here, Fluffy, if you would like to do so.
The moon's my planet, so I'm down for that.
Hey, Michael. Good to see you. All right. Well, I shuffled these cards, but sometimes we just hit trends where stuff keeps coming up. So, the first one I get is Once More Heart. So, you're dealing with something that you are deeply emotionally involved with. We have the stars, which means you need to be looking for spiritual guidance in the situation, Sage. And then our final card is the Princess of Lamps. Lamps represent is the suit of spirit in this uh, particular deck. So with the princess, we're looking at earth and spirit. So this is talking about being grounded with your spirituality, is what I'm sensing here. So another way of looking at it is applying your spirituality in a very practical manner. All right, Curdware. I'm going to get it right.
That's okay. As long as you don't call me late for dinner, we're good. Alrighty. All right. So Sage, here I have your first card. This card here is the Queen of Wands. And usually when we have a court card appear within our spread, it does usually represent a particular individual. In the first card here represents the past, and this individual is representing someone who is kind, very calm. They can be reserved, but they do tend to be sociable at the same time. This person has had some type of effect on you in a positive manner to be able to help you throughout any type of attachments or confidence issues that you may have had in the past. Now, here, the second card that I have pulled is the Two of Wands. So we've got two wands back to back here. This representing the current time, I am seeing some type of like discontentment of some sort with this card, possibly something lacking some type of focus. With this, I'm showing that some type of careful planning needs to be happening. Just be sure that you are watching any type of steps that you are taking at this time. And here within the last card, this is the, make sure I'm reading it right, yep, the Three of Swords. Now with the Three of Swords, so the Three of Swords, sorry, I didn't freeze. I'm here trying to think. The Three of Swords is kind of a troublesome card. It does usually represent some type of emotional quarrel or some type of turmoil, possibly a broken heart of some sort. With the two cards previous to this particular one, I don't want to say that this is for sure a negative thing. With your current card here, the Two of Wands, again, careful planning. This I see as more of a warning. Just be sure that you follow your careful planning to not be sure that you end up coming into some type of sorrow or grief with whatever situation that these cards are currently speaking on. Hopefully that made sense.
So I hope that is helpful, Sage. And Fluffy, I see the Facebook link in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
3 times now.
It's Friday on Zoom at 6 p.m. Pacific time.
So, and then
Well, I love
Tammy
me some
asked for
energy.
a general reading.
Hey there, Tammy. You're welcome, Sage. I do hope that helped.
I'm sorry I keep looking over the monitor. I have a moth dancing in my ring light.
All right, we got some wand energy tonight.
Hi, Deb. Good to see you. Okay. All right, Tammy. So first I've got the Two of Swords, or Wands rather. So this represents looking somehow to better your current situation. There's something in the current situation that you want to change. Then we have the Princess of Swords. So in this case, we are looking at swords are air, princesses are earth. So we are looking at a situation that is kind of static at the moment. Readings are free. Deborah, hi, welcome. And then finally, for our final outcome, we have the Queen of Swords, which is a card that comes up to represent me an awful lot. And here we have air and water. So we are winding up with sort of a fluid situation. So I'm going to say that you are looking to change things. And at first, it's going to seem like things are not changing very quickly. And then suddenly they are going to change very quickly. So be cautious that you are not applying too much pressure to a situation that you think is not moving, because it is going to move. So I hope you find that helpful. And what are you seeing there, Cardware? And you're not late for dinner.
I try not to be. I try not to be. All right, Tammy. So here I have your very first card that I've drawn for you. Here in the past, we have the Hanged Man. Now, the Hanged Man does represent a feeling of being stuck, even possibly feeling as if you were a victim to circumstance, not really being able to act upon anything, feeling tied in place. Something has happened to where it's made you feel restricted, right? So now here, the second card is your present card. Yeah, okay. And we have the, now the moon represents something that is obscured, something that's hidden. Well, at least with this particular card, it represents something that's hidden. something that's obscured, that's making you feel kind of um, what's the word? Like alone, not reserved. I don't want to say the word desolate either, but making you feel like in your some type of solitary confinement, for lack of a better phrase. Um, so what I would say here, you're still pulling energy from your hangman being restricted, just not as much. Now, on the positive side, this particular card also represents that there is a particular talent of yours that is now starting to come into play. I have noticed since about 2019, a lot of people have been coming into particular talents that they have. So this may be something that is an indication of that. Now, here, the third card I have pulled for you is the Ace of Wands. Now, this is your future card. The Ace of Wands represents that things are going to be moving and tides are shifting. Just as Mary had stated, there is going to be a change. Now, this will be based upon your choosing to do so, but it will be a quick action. You can't really see it too much in this card, but within this card, it does showcase that this stave or this wand is moving quickly, which is where we're getting that swift action from. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Not sure if you were here earlier when we were talking about shadow work, things like that. Definitely don't allow those restrictions that you have been hanging on to from those past to keep you from being able to move forward, because it's going to happen and it's going to happen quickly.
Hope that helps you, Tammy. And now, Fluffy, or Jason, as he's in the chat,
Fluffy
wants a general reading.
You are welcome, Tammy. Fluffy, I love your commercial on Pagan World TV with the wolf.
All right, so the first card I get for you is Mind. So in this case, you need to think things through clearly. Be sure you know what you want out of a situation, and be sure you are moving the way that you need to be. Next, we have the King of Swords. So, with this, there is a lot of passion here and a lot of power. So, you've got the ability to make what you want happen. So, be sure you use that wisely. And finally, we've got the Ten of Wands, which means that a situation that has been perhaps not so good for you is coming to an end, and it's time to get something new going. So you have the power to manifest something new here. Quite a bit of power is what I'm seeing. Just think through what you are manifesting and be sure you get what you truly want out of the situation.
Righty. And Fluffy, here I have your first card. Let me get my finger out of the way of there we go. So here we have the Six of Swords. We got a lot of swords and wands tonight. So the Six of Swords Okay, now this particular card represents passage through an extremely difficult happening. Something happened that was extremely hard for you, feeling as if you were carrying some type of a burden of some sort, even something that maybe caused you to feel as if you're pulling more than your own weight. The thing is this was actually a necessary trial that you went through in the past. This was something that needed to happen to be able to mold, so to speak, into who you are at this current time. Now, the second card representing current, I have the Page of Wands. Now, within the Page of Wands, there is some type of resurfacing, or not resurfacing, but some type of surfacing of information or some type of news that has some type of meaningful or significant, that is meaningful or significant to you. Um, this could represent some type of position, so to speak. Being a page, page can represent a position within a company or possibly a business venture that you're currently going out on. Now, again, being a core card represents people, can represent people. This could also be a particularly young person who is keen, possibly extremely enthusiastic about something that you're doing. Maybe you're working with them on that. Maybe even be able to take on more responsibility to take some weight off of you. Now, with this particular card, here our third card, the future, this is Judgment. Yes, here we have Judgment. Now, I love this particular card, and sorry I ramble, I love symbology. But with this particular card, like, it looks kind of creepy, but when we actually think about this card, this is transformation, right? Here we see a person who is sitting within the cauldron, and within paganism or within most mythologies, cauldrons represent some type of rebirth or transformation. And this person is being lifted up out of the cauldron. They're being transformed. So, I mean, Fluffy, most of us know you. You've got that power to be able to lift yourself up out of this cauldron. Here we have a hand up at the top. You getting that spiritual help, right? But you can do this. You got this, and this card solidifies that for you. I hope that made sense.
Okay, Fluffy. And next, Renee has asked for a general reading.
All right, all right.
Reading for Renee. Let me get my cards back over the table.
You're most welcome. I'm gonna get a sip of water here. Starting to feel hot. All them wands is making me hot.
So the first card is the Emperor. And the Emperor in this deck talks about working within the material plane, within the cycles of time. And the Emperor is talking about resources and using things wisely is what I'm feeling here. Next, I've got the Two of Lamps, trying to clear off the card. Lamps are about spiritual matters. And this one, we see a woman who is trying, and the two is about using your abilities for the betterment of yourself and for the betterment of other people. And then finally, we got the Three of Cups, the party card. So what I'm seeing here is the idea that you need to Be wise with your physical resources and be mindful of how what you're doing affects other people. At the same time, you are going to be celebrating something with the people close to you in the very near future.
Righty. Pull these cards here. All right, Miss Deborah. So here, the first card that I have for you. This is the Eight of Swords. Excuse me. So now the Eight of Swords. Now here we're referencing the past. Represents a feeling of being powerless. Some sort of being physically, as we can see here, a person is actually physically bound, possibly even emotionally trapped or restricted, so to speak. Whether this is something that has been placed by you, or this could have been done by another individual, perhaps being in a abusive relationship in the past has led you to be this. With the person here, we see the person is blindfolded, allowing another or showcasing another form of restriction. So here we're showing that this shows that you were unable to see a way out of that previous situation in the past, or something had caused you to where you were unable to see that, to be able to see an exit. Now here, oh my goodness, my lighting. I gotta get this fixed before next time for sure. Okay, so this card here representing your current, this is the Empress. Now the Empress represents fertility in personality, within good health, abundance. It's looking as if something was able to either remove those bonds or remove that blindfold to be able to pull you out of that to get you into a prosperous place at this time. The bull also represents fertility. So possibly, I don't want to necessarily say pregnancy, but there's some type of abundance somewhere being pulled for this card. Okay, now the last card that I'm showing here is the Ten of Cups, or Ten of Chalices within this deck. Now this represents still more further peace and prosperity. This is showing a future very joyous time, be it with friends or family, or individuals who you call your family, be it blood or not. This also shows that you've reached a goal of some sort that you wanted to reach for a while, even a dream maybe, or coming into succeeding in some type of dream. Now this is going to take patience and time for you to be able to get here. Success isn't something that happens overnight. Happiness isn't something that happens overnight. But eventually, the feeling of security and love that possibly wasn't felt from your first card, you're going to get there. That's what this is showcasing. I feel like that reading kind of touched on a couple of different things. Didn't necessarily go in any particular order, but definitely let me know what, if you're comfortable letting me know what you think about that.
All right. Next up, we have a reading for Abdul, and I do hope that helps you, Renee.
Oh, Renee. Oh, my bad. My screen.
All right, Abdul. So, all right. So the first thing I've got for you is the Ace of Swords. And the aces are fortunate cards. Swords can be about a conflict or a need to stand firm. And now we've got the Eight of Cups, which can mean you're being pulled in a lot of different directions and you're not seeing things clearly. You're going to have a choice to make here, but be careful. Be sure you are seeing it clearly, because at night you don't discern things clearly. And then the final card is the Six of Lamps. And this is one of my favorite cards in this deck because this represents a woman who has undertaken a vision quest and is meeting, you could think of this as a spirit guide, totem spirit, ancestral spirit, however you want to view this. So this is talking about putting time into spiritual matters, whatever spiritual path you're practicing, Abdul. You definitely need to be putting energy into that to deal with the situation you find yourself in. And be sure you are getting clear direction. So I hope you find that helpful. And Renee, you are so welcome.
Alrighty. All right. So here, the first card I have pulled for you, Abdul, is Strength. My other light quit working. Right, okay. So Strength literally represents exactly what the card says, strength, right? Strength can also be courage. Excuse me. Now, this card also showcases, I'm going to try to get it out of the way now. Oh, that's better. So strength also showcases a metaphorical taming of a wild beast, right? So here we have the lion, and we have an individual who is riding upon this lion. The lion representing that wild beast, and this lady was able to tame that, right? So in the past, there was some type of situation, obstacle of some sort, that you had to find a way to get under control, right? Possibly it was overcoming some type of fear. There was a situation, maybe you were noticing you're resisting some type of instinct, right? But either way, you were able to tame this beast. Okay. Now here we've got Temperance. Okay, and Temperance I definitely feel like this is pulling off of the previous card. Temperance represents a type of healing, a peace, serenity, serene presence, right? Here we can see an individual who is stepped out into a meadow. They've got their foot in the pond. Um, we can see the wind that's very easily blowing through, right? Tussling, as what I like to say when I see this card, is it's tussling the tunic, but it hasn't blown off the hat, right? So this is a very easy, gentle going breeze. You were able to find some type of healing or reconciliation, right? We see the two vases or the two chalices that are being poured into each other, representing balance. Okay, now one thing, while it is important to keep guard over your emotions, don't don't keep too much of a guard up, right? The waters tend to be very touchy, so when water gets out of balance, it can definitely become overly emotional. So whatever has allowed you to put yourself into this place, definitely keep that in mind. That way, you can always come back to that. Okay, and oh, we've got a repeat card. So we have the moon here again. So now the moon, playing off of the two prior cards that we've had for you. I'm going to state that some type of what's the word I used before? Talent. Some type of talent or gift. I know some people don't like to use the word gift, but something latent within you will end up coming into light that will allow your balance to further play out. Hope that makes sense.
No, I hope you find that helpful, Abdul. And it looks like our last reading for the night, because we're coming up on the hour, is going to be for Deborah.
All right, Miss Deborah.
And I have thoroughly shuffled this deck. But the first card I get for you is the Six of Lamps, which represents someone doing a vision quest and getting in touch with a spirit guide, totem, ancestor, however you wish to view it. So this is talking about doing some sort of spiritual work, and I don't know what type of path you practice, Deborah, but this is talking about doing some real deep spiritual work here. The next card I have is the Queen of Swords. And again, here we have got a situation with air and water. So you're going to have a situation that develops quickly. And if we are looking at a person, then we are looking at a woman in the fullness of her power, someone who has overcome a lot of obstacles in her life and knows how to use her strength. And then finally, we have the Three of Pentacles. And this is a card speaking about prosperity and about using your skills in the material world. So This is about, uh, like I said, prosperity, and especially relating to prosperity you bring about for yourself with your own work, something you are doing for yourself. So I hope you find that helpful.
Alrighty, righty, Miss Deborah. And for your first card I have here, this is the Four of Chalices. Yes, the Four of Chalices. Now, here we can see the individual is sitting here in a meditative position. Literally, this card does represent contemplation. So, in the past, you did have to go through some form of contemplation. Perhaps um, you ended up having to there was an opportunity of some sort that you definitely had to sit upon. And maybe it was an offer of employment of some sort. Um, but again, with it being chalices, it does have an emotional place within this. So it may not necessarily have had to do with the job. And maybe there was some type of what's the word I'm looking for? Not quid pro quo, but my mind is drawing a blank tonight. Uh, okay. So, anyways, before I lose anything else, so anyways, there was something that you definitely had to sit upon, something to consider, um, but it did involve some type of hardcore contemplation, some very deep thinking, consideration, something along those lines. Okay, so let's see if this makes it any more clearer. Our next card is the Seven of Wands. So now with the Seven of Wands, this has given you whatever this contemplation that you had to go through here in the past, right, has given you some type of confidence or bravery where you have been able to overcome adversity. Here you see this individual who's literally in a confidence stand upon these other wands here, right? So there was you were granted some type of confidence in this. Know that there is success in whatever type of adversity that you are attempting to overcome at this time, or whatever other obstacle that there is. That's what I'm showing here. But whatever that obstacle or opportunity, competition, whatever it may be, um, this is something that is showing that must be conquered or at least faced at this time. Don't run from it. Now, our last card here is the Seven of Pentacles. uh, so, patience. Okay. Um, the working on ourselves um, isn't something that, again, I know I stated this earlier, but again, it's not something that it happens overnight. This is something that you wait for because the efforts that you have taken into getting to where you currently are within this bravery, right? The patience it takes, the works that it takes, the more effort that you have put into it, the more fruitful your abundance is going to be, right? So when you are able to wait, right? You see how luscious this tree is. That's what that patience can do, right? This tree can represent your own life. Steady, being carefully planning certain steps, right, throughout this time to be able to get to where you are in that future. Um, your patience may be challenged, but hold on to it. I hope that helps.
Okay. And that brings us right to the top of the hour. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. This is the Daily Spell Tarot Thursday, and Reverend Mary Hawk, and this is my guest, Deirdre. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope everybody has enjoyed this. And please join me again next week, Tarot Thursday. And I hope you'll be back to read with me soon.
Oh, I will definitely be back. Everybody have a great, fantastic, blessed night.
Have a great evening. You're welcome, Tamra. Good to see you again. Blessed be